Hello and welcome to our Back to Business Kickoff webinar for 2021. And I just want to thank you again for joining us, and thanks for letting us know where you're watching from. So my name is Jody Stieg, and I'm excited to help you make this the best decade in Shaklee history. I'm a tech and marketing advisor to Shaklee distributors. I'm also a former business leader and a Shaklee kid. So I have to ask, who here is excited about Shaklee's new incentives for 2021? Last week, I believe most of you were probably on the kickoff. They rolled out some exciting new bonuses from 21K to in 2021 to Apple Watches and more. So if you could just go ahead and type in the chat, what did you like best about their kickoff announcements? Which is the one that maybe stands out in your mind? Now, the question that I have for everyone here is, how will you achieve these incentives? And I'm just seeing some numbers here. Folks are coming in with the 21 in 21. Obviously, that is exciting. And Dream Trip from Kristen, the 2-in-1 theme. That directors can qualify for the Star Club trip. Yeah, that's a cool one. Way to go, Rena. So the question that I'll ask, and that we must ask ourselves, and your team is definitely going to ask you, is where will you start? Which of Shaklee's new campaigns and products should you focus on? And is there anyone feeling that, where they're wondering which, there's Meology, there's Pick, there's the 2-in-1, there's all these different themes and ideas. Which one do you go with, right? And how do you, not only which should you focus on in that sense, but also how do you keep the new customers and builders buying once you find them? Shaklee talks about having a reset, and I think, there's some good sense to that. It's a perfect time to reset your mind and start the year with clarity. But one of the questions is, when you reset, well then, it's like rebooting your PC. You're back to zero. So what next? I'm not sure who knows this. Shaklee has introduced more than 25 themes, programs, and taglines in the past few years. And they've released more than 15 different starter pack combinations and 10 new products in the last 2 years alone. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of these changes and you're not sure where to focus your energy, well, we certainly understand. At YFP, we've been teaching just 3 core non-changing fundamentals for over 15 years. Change can be good, but it can also have a ripple effect on your team. Your team can become discouraged when they've finally got the hang of the last campaign, and then in 6 months, they have to change and, embrace this new idea. Has anyone experienced that? You just got them excited about this, and then Shaklee introduces a new, what could be pretty neat, but it's like they have to think about, the whole thing all over again. Well, our organization struggled to keep up with the never-ending cycle of changes. So we chose to focus on the 3 power fundamentals instead. And top trainers like Eric Warre teach it, master coordinators do it, and we want to help you discover these too. You see, themes and taglines and packs, they're not fundamentals. They have their place, but if you focus on the fundamentals, you'll discover that you can actually activate and capitalize on all the great programs that Shaklee offers, and you'll never get confused along the way. And that's the same for your team. So no matter what Shaklee rolls out, you can adopt it, and you and your team won't skip a beat. Now, the key to having this clarity and simplicity is to review your plan or blueprint. Doing this will help you get back to the fundamentals so you can focus on the activities that will give the highest impact. You might know them as IPAs, or income producing activities. 2020 and even the beginning of this year have thrown us unprecedented challenges. When you're confused, feeling uncertain, it's time for reflection, appreciation, and gratitude. And then you want to recommit to the mission. So I've actually been recommitting to listening to Dr. Shaklee. Have you guys seen the 2 new videos that I produced? They're just little short clips where I've taken some of his words. And it's kind of like with all the craziness that's going on out there, it's so easy just to listen to him again for a minute and gets you right back to basics. So as he teaches, it's time to attune yourself to nature. So if you're feeling a little flustered or anything that isn't about moving forward, you know, take your socks and shoes off and go stand in nature. Maybe it's a little too cold. Here in the Philippines, it's kind of warm. So, but it's time to earth yourself, ground yourself, get back to what Dr. Shaklee's teaching, and let's get out of some of the other craziness that's going on. Those who have decided to go all in with YFP and implement the plan in the YFP Business Blueprint, they're having the most success with YFP. Now, if you follow the blueprint within 12 months, I have no doubt that you'll have sown the seeds of an amazing business for your future. And that's what we'll be talking about on today's webinar, is the YFP Business Blueprint. So with YFP, you're only one tour away from finding that next builder, that next loyal client, that next master coordinator, and most importantly, a lifestyle of personal freedom. You know, everyone who's on this webinar tonight was, for someone else, that one tour away, that one invite, right? That one person who they brought through a presentation or however they enrolled you into Shaklee. So if you're looking for a way to simplify your business and get a jump start on achieving Shaklee's incentives, this webinar will help. Now, in today's webinar, you're going to learn the non-changing fundamentals that I mentioned earlier, the one tour campaign, new videos for your Explore Opportunity Tour, assets to help you, and how to create your 12-month business blueprint. So let's go ahead and roll our slides and get started. Okay, so go ahead and let me know if you guys can see my screen. And I just need to make sure that I've got my, there we go, my presenter view up so I can also see everyone. There we go, and get my chat. Okay, super. So we just discussed Shaklee offering new incentives. And the question is, again, how will you achieve these? Where will you start? How do you keep the new customers and builders that you get? So if you stay with us to the end of this class, you'll get clarity on how to do just that. Now you'll notice Shaklee's offering monthly promotions, the Pay Center program, the 21K and 2021, Star Club bonuses, the quarterly incentive with the Apple Watch, and as well as the Star Club trip. Now, we believe, and we've certainly proven it over the years we've been in the business. My family's been in the business for over 40 years. I've grown up in Shaklee. I was 8 years old when my parents started their business. And I myself have been working now with Shaklee distributors for over 15 years. YFP has now been around for 15 years. And if you focus on the non-changing fundamentals, you'll capitalize on whatever new program or theme Shaklee has. So that's what our organization has done years ago. And what I've been teaching is, instead of focusing on the theme, you know, you need to know it and you need to understand how it works so that you can make sure you capitalize on it. But you don't need to change the, you know, whoever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And yeah, that's a good point. I'm just going to turn, is the camera, somebody's saying my video camera is blocking it, but I think my camera's off, am I right? My camera should be off, Kristen. Am I good to go?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm just gonna leave camera off so that I don't get in front of these slides, if you don't mind. You've already seen me, so you don't need to see me again for now. So as you can see, you know, from Land to Van and 100 Days to Amazing, and, you know, they've got all kinds of neat slogans. In fact, I went into Shaklee's trademark registrations, and you'll notice they have over 300 different things they've trademarked. So that means these are constant changes that you and your team would need to keep up with. When we say don't, allow Shaklee to just toss in whatever great program, because see, what you're going to focus on is these three fundamentals here. And I'm just going to get my little annotation tool out here so I can draw. So we want you to focus on ACE, which means attract, convert, and educate. This is the most base fundamental marketing 101 you can get. It doesn't matter what Shaklee ever does, this will never change. In, you know, maybe in 100 years when they have some other AI or something like that. But as far as I can see, we need the ability to attract people to take a look at what we're offering. Then we need to convert them into either a business builder or into a buyer, a consumer, a customer, right? A member. And then we need to educate so they'll stay with us, so they'll continually buy, or they might buy once and then the next month after that, that's it. So who here has discovered that same thing? Let me just make sure that I'm sharing the right screen as well. Yeah, looks like I am. Kristen, they're just saying that the logo is covering something. Just want to make sure that's not an issue. I don't see a YFP logo here, so.
I think I got that.
Okay, yeah, please make sure you hide the little, yeah, that's it. Did we get rid of that thing? What it does, guys, is if they don't set it correctly, it'll show uncameraed people. Yeah, we don't want that. All right, so we need to attract, convert, and educate. So the question is always, what phase are you focusing on? A lot of people tend to be in the education zone, and thankfully you are because you're here tonight. But this is the real kind of the crux, is the attraction zone. That's the invite, right? And the engagement, the networking, the things that it's going to take to get people into your funnel so that you can actually begin to move them forward towards a yes. So the next thing we want to do is focus on a block of volume. A simple block that not only can you do, but it's really simple for you to teach your team to do. We use the number 500. That number has changed in the past. We've had 100, we've had 250, but we like 500. And I'm super excited to say that Shaklee is also embracing it too. Have you guys noticed that that's the number they talked about in the 2-in-1 program? Okay, is 500 PV. So we've been talking about the 500 block for years now. And the reason is a brand new builder can embrace a 500 PV number way more than the 2,000 or 3,000, you know, back in the day when you were supervisors before director ever existed. That's difficult for a new person to embrace and go with that concept. And for many of you, 500 PV is easily done with, you know, a customer or two, and then just what you buy, just simply by changing brands, you know, so your whole house is fully Shakleeized, and then you got a couple customers and you got a 500 block. Who, you know, go ahead and agree with me if that has been true for you, that you found, you know, 3 or 4, 5 or 6 customers, and then you change brands and now you're just rocking 500 PV. It's like a no-brainer, right? So if we focus on not only doing that, but on teaching others that, then guess what? There's one more thing we need to do, is not only to do it and not only to teach it, but is to teach them to teach it. So go ahead and type that in the chat. Teach people to teach 500. So don't just do it and don't just teach it. Teach them to teach it. Then you get to step back, because now it's moving on, being taught, even though maybe you're not teaching it, right? You're busy doing something else. So teach people to teach is the key piece of this. And that's where a lot of people miss the boat on YFP. They want to use it like a barnacle on a whale, where they just sort of plug it into the side of their business, but they don't teach any of the YFP fundamentals, which, by the way, are just network marketing fundamentals that we have beautifully sort of woven into our assets. But these, you know, go outside of Shaklee even. The next one is the 4 educational marketing strategies. So let's go ahead and talk about those 4 educational marketing strategies. So our 4 educational marketing strategies are simple to do, simple to teach, and simple to implement. Number 1 is to guide people through your funnel. Now, a funnel is just a hallway of information. It's just a series of assets that you've tied together. So it could be a Shaklee video, which leads to a presentation, maybe a couple emails in between. It could be a postcard along the way, whatever you choose, or you can use the funnels that we build for you. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the new assets that we have for your funnels coming up. So the next thing would be promoting your live events, or our events that we do with you on your behalf. So every Monday and every Wednesday, we're doing an event that you guys can use to promote you. So on Mondays, we're doing the wealthy webinars for the Work at Home show. And then on Wednesdays, we're doing wellness webinars, which we have things like science talks and wellness chats. Right now, we're doing the Leaner for Life program. And instead of you focusing on all the efforts that it takes to design, develop, plan, get all the guests, do the production and all the costs of all that, why bother with all that? Why not focus on becoming really good at getting people to the events? And I want you to think of it like this. So you earn money by selling flowers. And one of the ways you sell flowers is by holding garden parties. So do you want to be the gardener who has to put the bushes up and does all the lawn mowing and does everything like that? Or do you want to be the one who makes sure that you get really good at getting people to the party? Because that's a skill set and you've got to focus on that, right? Because where focus goes, energy flows. They talk about that in last week's kickoff. So I want to be a good inviter. Type that out. Let's get a little affirmation, or maybe just say this: I am a good inviter. That's better. Affirm it in the present. I am an excellent inviter. I'm an elegant inviter. So when you get really good at inviting people to live events, that allows the event to educate them, and you don't come across as a salesperson, which is what people hate, or most people hate, at least the 95%. They're not into selling, but they don't mind inviting, right? They don't mind being part of a community. They don't mind educating. Now, number 3 is to build your lists and then communicate with the people on those lists. What's so exciting is that when you guide people through the funnels using the YFP tools, you're actually adding people to your list every time they enroll into your resource center. So if you get them on your newsletter, if you get them to download anything, anyone who gets in your wellness resource center, bam, they're in your email marketing list. Now, the nice thing is, if they add their phone number, when we roll out our SMS module later on, either this year, hopefully in the 4th quarter of this year, then you'll also be able to, or you could be on our beta program if you want, by the way, where we will also invite your people to one wellness webinar a month via an SMS broadcast, meaning text messaging, a cell phone message, as well as we will send one message for you on your behalf to let them know that your newsletter is live. Because your newsletter encapsulates everything that's going on in your business, right? From a product wellness-oriented perspective, as well as letting them know even about work-at-home events. So who likes the idea of having people get a cell phone message? Because remember, your open rate on cell phones is like 95% when you're inviting them to a wellness event, high-valued, non-pitch event, or hey, my newsletter's live, so then they can go in and see what it is that's happening. And the final piece would be to build a team and duplicate. So when you guide people through your funnels, you're automatically going to be building your team because you're going to be enrolling people either as a customer or as a business builder. How are you going to duplicate? You're going to invite them to live events, which educates them so that they know how to do number 1. The key is this: if you focus on number 1 and then number 2, promoting your live events, you will activate 3 and 4. So again, focus on guiding, so inviting and guiding, what it takes to guide, and then focus on promoting those live events, and you'll find number 3 and number 4 get done. Because see, we're emailing on your behalf. Now, we recommend you go in and personalize some of your emails now and again and whatnot, but even if you don't, we're still sending those emails out on your behalf. We're still sending out educational focused emails. Our team is working on your behalf for you. So you'll be guiding people into your educational ecosystem of videos, events, newsletters, and articles. What tends to happen is people focus on the videos, the events, and the newsletters, making sure those are all shiny and they've got the most, everything is just picture perfect, but they don't focus on guiding anyone into it. So you've only got the small little audience of people that are actually hearing your message. So which do you guys think you ought to do? Focus on becoming asset creators or inviters into the ecosystem, and let the team who works, there's 40 of us working 40 hours a week. So what's that? How many hours a week are we working on your behalf? Do you think that you can outdo that by you working, 8 hours a day? So what should you be, right? So you have to be very clear on who am I? What's my main job in this business? With that said, that doesn't mean you never do page posts, and that doesn't mean you never do an Instagram thing. No, that doesn't mean that. It's just, that's not what you focus on. It's like the sideline thing you do when you're done with all the invites, with all the engagements, with all the networking. So when you're confused, feeling uncertain, again, reflect, appreciate, feel gratitude, and then recommit to the mission. Let's get back to the fundamentals and then attune yourself to nature. Who, when you saw the Dr. Shaklee video, just felt like you just were like grounded when you heard that? It's like, all this other craziness. You just listen to him and it's like, okay, that makes sense. I can't stress enough listening to anything that Dr. Shaklee says. It just gets you right connected into the mission. Because he was about transforming healthcare from sick care to well care way back when he was a young man. And you know what really led him to that was when he had appendicitis, and he was first suggested to get surgery, and instead it was a chiropractor who gave him an adjustment and solved his pain issue. Now, then he also studied some other people that were, like bodybuilders and things like that, as well as his time convalescing as a young boy from tuberculosis. But all of these things led him at an early age to start thinking about that. So that's been his mission. So it's time to make sure that we embrace that. But there's one other mission that a lot of us I feel, don't really talk about. Now, Roger coined this phrase, and I think it's brilliant, and that is democratizing entrepreneurship. So go ahead and type that out because it's hard to spell. Let's see, you give you 3 stars if you can type that out. Democratizing entrepreneurship. So what does that mean? That means to make available to the masses, democratizing entrepreneurship. And you know what you'll find is that if you focus on helping more people to become part of your network, each of them will have a couple customers. You are going to be able to achieve the mission of transforming healthcare from sick care to well care faster by focusing on democratizing entrepreneurship. And that's why you will notice that here at YFP, we tend to be very slanted on that message, on that conversation. Again, who has found that to be true? That you have helped more people with their health by building a large organization than you did when you just focused on selling products. That has certainly been true for my Aunt Peggy and my family. So if you help enough other people learn how to have a new path for income, well, then each one of those people are going to be at least worth 1 or 2 or 3 customers. So how can YFP help you with these concepts? Well, one is with our One Tour Away Invite Challenge, which starts January 18th. And Kristen, I should have mentioned, give you a heads up, but could you just jump in for a minute, hop on camera, and just share with everyone a little bit about, because you did one as a pilot program, and then I'll just turn my camera on too.
There we go.
And then, yeah, just share. Yeah, there you go. Build your walls.
Build my wall, I back up.
Yeah. If you could, just share a little bit about what are we doing with the Invite Challenge, and what was your results with the first little sort of the soft launch or the beta alpha launch?
It was a soft launch. So with the Invite Challenge, what we're doing is from the 18th, well, the week of the 18th and the following week, so for 2 weeks, focusing from Monday to Friday. Mm-hmm. The goal is to invite 3 people a day, 5 days a week, for a total of 30 invites. So we did a soft launch in December, right before the holidays, and actually we did pretty good. Not everybody reached, the goal of 3 people a day, but there were 3 or 4 people that got tours out of it, multiple tours coming in the new year that they're now bringing people through. And all in all, it helped a lot with people getting back focused on the inviting thing, which many of us will tend to sway away from.
Well, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of you start thinking of ways that you can perfect Instagram. Mm-hmm. Which hashtag should I be using, right? You start going down that rabbit hole, which it has its place, but it's last place. So 80%, everything is like win the game at inviting. And, with all the coaching clients that I've been working with, that's what I teach them. And that's really what my coaching is all about, is scrubbing everything that's not inviting and engaging and networking. Until they master that, I feel that they're just winning. They're so busy inviting. Now we see what time they have left over to start adding any of the other sideline pieces. So just share again the time. So it's going to be, the goal will be 3 invites a day. So and we're talking about working 5 days a week. So that's in 2 weeks, right? That is 30 invites. And out of that, what was kind of the target for that? How many people did we plan on having for tours? 3 to 4?
The target was we expected about 10 tours out of those 30 invites.
Like 10 yeses.
10 people saying yes to the tours.
Right. And so 5 or 6 will show up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that's kind of an exciting number when you think about it. That if, how would your business change if you had 10 people who are saying yes to taking a look at what Shaklee offers? They're not saying yes to Shaklee. They just, they're willing to explore. That's all we're asking for. That's our only job, is to guide people through what Shaklee offers and then let them make the decision if they see something that's right for them. We don't have to manipulate, cajole, or anything like that. So that is the One Tour Away Invite Challenge. And by the way, it could also be one tour for the Discover Shaklee funnel, correct? So it's either helping them discover Shaklee and the Shaklee difference and then moving them into Learn and Earn, or you could be going to the business. Whichever is a fit for you. It'd be simple as that. So who's interested in being a part of that? Just say, I'm interested in Invite Challenge. Type that out. I'm interested in Invite Challenge. That way, when we go through this chat, we can make sure that we reach out to you guys and remind you. So I'm interested in an Invite Challenge if you want to be a part of that.
Awesome. We're going to be busy.
And by the way, my Aunt Peggy, who's on here right now, she ended up going through 100 people she toured 100 people. And out of that, what was it, Pegs? 2 directors, something like that, 3 directors? I can't remember. Kristen, by the way, is one of them. So Kristen, as a business leader here, is one of the ones from that. And maybe Pegs, you could type that out. How many? It took Pegs almost 40 something or 50 people.
48 or 49.
Before someone finally sponsored, bought anything. So it's kind of interesting. Sometimes it may be a slog on your first 50. And then after that, it just gets awesome. It's just the key is, are you willing to stick it out? Whereas what'll happen, a lot of people on number 25, they bail out. They didn't wait for the gold rush that's about to happen by getting those numbers in place. Ashley's in. Yay, Ashley. Okay, so now let's go back to my screen. So what else are we going to do here at YFP to help you guys to achieve Shaklee's initiatives? Okay, we want to know about their program, but we don't want to focus on the program, because we want to focus on the things that it takes to capitalize on the program. I want to really reiterate that. And again, don't at all think for a minute I'm beating up on their programs, because the programs are what's paying you. But just type this out. Don't focus on the program or the incentive. Focus on the activity that it takes, right? The activity required. So yes, you want to have a goal, get it on your sticky note that, yeah, I want this trip, I want this whatever. But then you got to get your nose in there, which is, how many invites do I need? That is something you can control. How many engagements do I have, right? How many people did I reach out to and just say hi? That you can control. You can't actually control how many people join or buy. That's totally out of your control. But how many people you reach out to with the Invite Challenge, that is in your control. So the next thing is the new videos for EO. Now, I know some of you are going to get all super excited about the EO and say, I got to have these new videos and I can't show anybody this thing until I get the new videos. And no. So I'm just going to give you a kind of a caveat here. You must sell what's available today. So just because we have something new in the pipeline, don't even stop for a second. What your prospects see is all they know. Okay. So what is coming is shinier, but what you've got now is still amazing. With that said, let me go ahead and do this. And Kristen, let me know if I have sound.
If you feel like...
Sound okay?
Sound is great.
Okay, so gang, this is going to be our very first video. You've been seeing me post the rough drafts of these. Now, these take a long time for us to produce because we have to spend hours and hours searching for every video clip. We have to search for all the audio, and we have to assemble it all. We have to, of course, make a rough draft, and then we have to buy everything. It is a long, long process, so bear with us as we create this. But this is video number 1. This one video here is, a good, probably 80 hours, something like that. So let's go ahead and let's see what you've got.
You're working hard but aren't making any headway, you're not alone. What you may not realize is that we're all facing 7 major challenges which are making it more difficult than ever for you and those you care about to get ahead and truly thrive. In this video, you'll discover the 7 major challenges we're all facing and the new possibility this opportunity offers for people trying to get ahead. The first major challenge we're all facing is a changing economy, which is making old ways of earning a living much less reliable. The second is inflation, which is slowly eating away at your spending power. Third is slow wage growth, which isn't keeping up with inflation. Next is income insecurity, which is creating an unstable future for most people. Another major challenge is the massive debt load, which is leaving most beholden to big banks and the top 1%. The sixth major challenge is soaring healthcare costs, which is becoming the #1 cause of bankruptcy amongst Americans. And finally, the seventh challenge is lack of retirement benefits, which for many, that means no retirement benefits at all. Now, I realize these challenges are daunting, but thankfully there are 4 powerful ways you can overcome them. Starting with education, which empowers you to make better choices, and taking this tour is education. Leverage, which allows you to multiply your efforts and speed up your path to success. Passive income, which allows you to earn on something you've done in the past. And entrepreneurship, which gives you new possibilities for getting ahead and can give you the power of choice in your life.
Okay, so what did you like best about that video? What stood out in your mind?
If you feel like you're working hard but aren't...
Get to the next slide, there we go. And I just want to show you guys, some of you may not sort of see how does this fit into the overall picture. So let me go ahead and open this up here. And this is the messaging pillars that I want you guys to consider embracing over, this decade. Would you guys agree that right now we are in a crisis when it comes to job insecurity? People are struggling out there and they're looking for answers, and you offer that solution. So this is going to be the lineup for your tour. So it'll still be the PowerPoint presentation where you prime up your prospect so that they understand what it is they're looking at. And it also allows you, most importantly, to get their feedback on what are their concerns. Then you can, once you understand their concerns, it's easier for you to adjust your presentation, right? And the kind of things you emphasize with them while you're guiding them through the opportunity tour, if you know that. So you'll start off with that. Then you'll do the 7 major challenges video. And as you can see, they're all very short, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then the next one is a new possibility for getting ahead. Then we'll have a little intro into the market. And then Roger's video, Why Partner With Us. We've got a shorter version. We're using actually the clip that comes from the virtual conference so that it's a little shorter with Les Wong, the science behind Shaklee. Then discover the benefits and explore the financials. Again, a very short little piece that helps them understand that this is a legitimate opportunity, and this is sort of some of the income potentials. So this is really designed to give them enough information so that they're curious and they want to see more. So who here is excited about that? Go ahead and say, I'm excited, if that would be you. And also, do you have experience with the tour? Some of you may never even seen the tour before and you're not familiar with it. So, YFP has actually been a proponent of a guided tour for years, because it is the best way to catalyze someone's willingness to take action is to guide them. It's a very noisy world out there. So if you just sort of like give them a video and hope they'll watch it, your numbers of that are very low. Your statistics of conversion and efficacy is very low for that. But if you will ask someone to watch it with you, okay, you will have a much better chance of them actually finishing the video. And we know that if enough people will see this information, that they'll say yes, and those numbers will work in your favor. It's highly likely, by the way, you can pretty much count on 3 out of 10. You get 10 people to look through the tour, 3 people will be interested in joining or buying. So it's just a matter of how many 10s do you need, right? Now, the other thing that we're offering to help you guys is our prospecting groups. So you may not know this, but YFP has gone out and we've put together groups for you. And there's kind of some confusion on this where people aren't really sure, should I have my own group? Should I use your groups? And again, should you guys be asset creators and managers, or should you be inviters? So that to me just answers it right there. So that's just up to you. What do you want to be? Okay, so if you want to be an inviter, then do you think it's better to let a team of 40 people manage and maintain a group that you just participate in? Or do you want to go and run it all yourself and try to invite people to the group? Now, with that said, I realize some of you have your own group and you are very happy with that. You've got good engagement, then fine. Go with that. But I will caution you, your team will want to do whatever you do. So if you've got your own little independent group, then it's not very long. And then they're going to have their little independent group, and you've got all these little independent groups everywhere. And there's no real sort of thriving, bustling community anywhere from a prospecting perspective for people that aren't that aware of Shaklee. Where for us, we've got Dr. Daggy, we've got Dr. Browse and Dr. Scala and Dr. Westerdahl. These guys are all producing content that we're putting in these groups for you. And you can't share them out of our groups into your groups. We've made them private for specific reasons. One of them is it just makes them a more effective prospecting space from that perspective. So my recommendation in the past was, yeah, you had your own little group, but we've come to the point after these years, and I've been working with Facebook now for 10 years, that I've decided this is the strategy moving forward. No more everyone has their own group and all the time it takes for that. Instead, let's focus on our prospecting groups. We have 2 groups that are prospecting, like generic groups. So let me go and draw this out. So at the top, you'll notice here, okay, this is for business prospects and for product prospects. This is generic. That's why it says here, the target audience is for people not aware of Shaklee. So we've got the work at home group, which guess what? We are streaming our weekly Wealthy Wednesday or Wealthy webinars that are on Mondays, the work at home show. We're streaming it into this group, right? We're also streaming our Wellness Wednesdays, if they're generic, here. All you have to do is make sure they're in the group. So for us, groups really are a fallback. Now, we've been, again, we've got a wide view of what's going on in the Shaklee kingdom because I work with so many masters and other leaders, and I've been watching those people that deal with their own groups and those people that are just focusing on using our groups. The people that are having the most success and have the most clarity are the ones that are working within just our groups that are already made for them. And Kristen could also attest to that because she actually ended up building a group for one of the leaders. And now that group is, yes, it's got things going on in there, but now those builders are now trying to build their own little groups. And it just goes on and on. So now once people know about Shaklee, then they get moved into these groups. Now, I won't get into a lot of detail now, but there's something you may have heard of called ATM groups or add tag message. That actually doesn't apply anymore because you can't add people to a group anymore. You can invite them and then they have to accept. So it's really invite and then mention and then message. So it's really IMM is the truth of it. And we'll be talking about that more on other upcoming trainings, but that is where it is. And so my suggestion is don't worry about knowing that. All I want you to focus on is getting people in the group when it makes sense. But for us, it's default to the tour. And Kristen, if you could just come in again and share with me, just so everyone hears it from both of us. So you were part of the project that helped build another leaders group, and things were all happy. And then what you've noticed is things slowly fade out, and it's pretty much like one person kind of posting stuff. And then there's kind of confusion because they don't know what to do next. They don't focus on the tour, and then it delays it. Just share a little bit about that.
Well, and then the other thing too is, it's, what do you give people? Where do you take them? How do you teach them to duplicate it without that structure in place, like the tour? I find that the tour eliminates the confusion side of it, and you don't have to guess on what are you going to take them to, what are you mentioning them in, and then right. Two, what'll happen is because everybody has their own personality. We all have our special spice we want to put in. There's then the tendency to break off and start your own, which is a lot of work to do. A lot of work.
It took you like hundreds of hours to build all the units and put all their stuff together. Yeah. That just slows down growth. When you can have a team, now they had to pay you to do it, whereas you guys, you're already paying us. So we've already got this going on. So for us, it's like this. This is when I recommend you use the group. Is if you're reaching out to somebody, you first invite them to one of your tours. Then if they say, well, can you just send me something? Sure, I can. I've got this neat group where I've got some good information. Can I add you to it? That's when you use the group. So again, it's your fallback, okay? So when someone says, can you send me something, or can't you just send me something because they just won't give you that time, then you use the group. I do not lead with the group because they also get lost in the group. The other challenge is not everyone's into Facebook. So what are you going to do with a prospect if you're putting all this effort into groups, if groups are your main thing? What are you going to do with that? The other challenge with a group is they don't build your email marketing list. What you do is you build Facebook's list. And one of the challenges is that Facebook has been known, because it's happened to us, to kill off groups. So you go and you put in all this effort, you do all this thing, and then there goes your group. So groups for us are just like a sideline little device, and they're not your home base. Never make a group or anything to do with Facebook your home base, or you are asking for trouble. So that's our strategy on that. So who's with us on that? Just say we're with you if you guys want to embrace that. Because that when I say all in with YFP, that's what I mean, is that you're going to go all in with our strategy. And I'm not saying we have a better way or we're the right way. I'm just saying we're choosing a way. So at some point, you've got to put your, your flag in the sand and say, okay, this is going to be my way. This is what I will teach, so that I'm not all over the place. Or you're like bouncing all over the place. That to me is just critical. Okay. So, and I'm not, no hard feelings if you're not with us on that sense. If you want to do it your own way, that's fine. But I have found that you get a movement created, right? You will mobilize leaders when you choose a path, and then that's what you push towards. All right, thanks for that, Kristen. So another thing that we are helping you with is grand openings. And I'm just going to share where the grand opening fits in a moment. And then now we went out and hired senior master coordinator, Jennifer Glacken. She did a fabulous job teaching us how to use grand openings. Now we built a modified version of the presentation based on YFP assets that she doesn't offer, but I worked with her personally to show her, okay, this is what I'm doing. And she said, okay, well, do this and don't do that. And so the grand opening presentation that we put out there is in alignment with many of the things that she teaches. Her presentation's a little bit different because she's very heavy weighted on the business, which I totally agree with. But the way our asset stack is different than hers, ours flowed a little differently. So that's what we went with. Okay. So, and by the way, maybe Kristen could just speak quickly on that. Learn and earn, grand opening. You did a grand opening with one of your brand new builders, and just share how that went.
Mm-hmm. We had, actually my downline had a brand new builder. We did the grand opening for her, had about 6 or 7 people come in and join and watch. And from that, we're actually right now just getting everybody into whatever products they're wanting and into the tours that they're most interested in. So it was awesome. Good, quick way to get her some momentum right from the beginning.
Right. And now I've had some people want to change the grand opening presentation. And again, that's okay. But the question is, will that duplicate? Because when you download it from our system, it'll be this way. It'll be the Apple's version. Well, if you modify it and then your downline downloads it from our system, now you got the bananas version because you've modified it, and now they got the Apple's version. And now they don't know which one to go with. So do you see the problem with that? It's because there's no perfect way. That's just based on personal preferences. So now we built this with the help of Lifetime Masters, Hannah and Alan Sharapan. We reviewed it with the master coordinator, senior masters, the Tuvels, senior master Bob Ferguson. We went through a lot of people to make sure that we didn't just spin something off. So this is a tried and true program. So I recommend don't change it until you're executive coordinator or key coordinator, something like that. Or you've moved up in rank a few times and then you feel you should change it, fine. But other than that, just use it, right? Instead of mucking around with changing things. And that was Hannah who taught me that too, by the way. That's what they teach. Don't go coming up with your own ideas until you're like executive coordinator or something like that. Next one is learn and earn. So we also offer a learn and earn program, which is all about incentivizing education. So that's where people are going to, we've got several videos that they can go in. Basically, it's like 4.5 hours of videos to watch. That's going to educate them about Shaklee. Imagine the power of an infomercial where you can actually get people to watch 4 hours of infomercial, right? For your product. I mean, big companies would kill for that. And you get to do it for a measly $100 gift at retail. So depending on what, what rank you are, that's probably going to be 65, 75, something like that. That's going to cost you to educate someone on that. A lot of businesses in Shaklee have been built on Learn and Earn. The problem, though, is Learn and Earn used to be very cumbersome and complicated, and it was very manual, where now with our program, you don't have that. And maybe, again, Kristen can hop on in and just talk about Learn and Earn with our with your builders there.
For sure. So I started coaching with a couple who wanted to increase their PV. They're hovering around, to 2,500 PV. And within 2 months of really digging into using the tours and the Learn and Earn, we're able to get to 5,000 and have actually been able to hold between 5,000 and 6,000, well, up until now. So they're doing really well with it. Now we're on to the next sprint.
They're rocking it. Remember what I talked about in the beginning of this presentation, right? Shaklee's got great incentives. That can hype you up to bring in some new people. But then what are you going to do to keep them around, right? Jeannie Touvel said that to me, Senior Master Jeannie Touvel. She said that the thing in Shaklee we got to do is we got to find them and then we got to keep them. That's really the bottom line. If you don't have some sort of an educational platform, some way that keeps them involved, they start to fade away. That's why we do weekly meetings, right? But not everyone's going to attend a weekly meeting if they're a customer. Well, most of them won't attend a weekly meeting, not just a meeting for the sake of, it's a Shaklee meeting. They will, however, attend things that are educational and interesting to them on certain topics. So that's why we want weekly newsletters and we want weekly, events and things like that. All right, so Learn and Earn. Now, another thing that we have is the YFP blueprint, which we're going to go ahead and talk about. And then, of course, the weekly events. And I will let's type this out in the chat if we could again, Kristen, or even Maura. Maura's running chat, way to go. And that is this. Monday, okay, I'm just going to talk prospecting events because yes, we do a marketing Monday to teach you guys, but I just want you to think of what do we offer to help you guys find new builders. And so Monday is work at home. Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday. So both 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. That's it. All you need to remember is that, okay? So your goal is to make sure that people are attending either that or that. Now, if you're doing your own meeting, by the way, well, then that would be the other thing. Of course, you want your people to be attending your meeting, which for me is the highest priority for builders, okay? Not prospects, of course, but builders should be attending their upline's meeting. That should go before us. However, if you don't have an upline then who's active and you need to attend something, well, we have Marketing Mondays, right? And that's, by the way, where you're going to learn about all the things that are coming up and things like I'm talking about now. And then, of course, you also have not just Marketing Monday, but we've also got YFP 101. And then Thursdays at this slot is the free event, YFP 202, and then Networkers University, which goes next week again. Okay, so let's go back to slides and just show you this here. I think I am on slides, so let's keep moving. All right. So here's the business funnel. I just wanted to review this again with you quickly because we are going to be doing the invite challenge, and this is one of the core things you'll be inviting them to. So what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to be focusing on reaching out, engaging with people on Facebook. How you doing? How are the kids? And then there's a very simple invite message, and you'll learn that in the invite challenge, which invites them ready to one particular web page, which is when you're going to give them this page here, the little video tour. So that video that I showed you earlier, the 7 major challenges, is going to be on that tour. And that's all you got to do is just say, listen, are you interested in earning an income by showing people videos? I mean, that's really it. Who wants to earn an income by guiding people to websites? That's a hot little tag phrase. Go ahead and type that out. Who wants to earn an income guiding people through websites? Because that's really what you do. How do you earn that income? Well, when they get guided through the website, they learn, and that gets them to buy, right? You don't have to sell them. You just have to persuade them to take the tour. So who wants to earn an income guiding people through websites? That is your core kind of messaging out there. And it absolutely works. I've proven it. I've created an income that my parents now get paid on because my whole organization moved up to them when I had to let go of my distributorship. So after the video tour, then we're going to take them here into the modules, the classroom. So there's 3 modules. They're going to learn the benefits, they're going to learn how it all works, and then they're going to learn about the products. And that gives them just enough information so that they know exactly what they're saying yes to or saying no to, So they can come to here and say, I'm ready to go. And we've got a quick little launch process. And guess where it's really all meant to do is get them here to your Shaklee shop. A lot of people will try to just go right to the Shaklee shop and get people to buy things, but people need time to think about it. They need time to get to know you, to trust you. And this tour does exactly that. Then we move them from there into the YFP Business Blueprint. And guess what? Da-da-da-da. Then you take that one new builder and you turn them into 3 by having a grand opening. So that's what Kristen did. Well, actually, Kristen's downline, Jocelyn, found a new builder. And by the way, Kristen and Jocelyn are in my family's organization, so I love to see their success. They found a new builder, and that builder then did a grand opening. From that, now you don't just have, necessarily one person. I mean, maybe you end up with only one person, but if you invite enough people, it's highly likely you'll have 3 people or more. Now you've got 3 people, let's say 3 new interested people who are moving. And you see, that's why Jennifer Glacken is just kicking butt with grand openings, is she knows how to turn one new builder into 3 and into 4 prospects very quickly. And that is called tap rooting. Okay, so type in, I want to tap root. You want to turn one person into 3. That is the critical piece. Hopefully you can figure all that out with all my scribbling. All right, so that is the process. The cool thing about it is this is a non-changing process. So it doesn't matter what Shaklee is going to throw at you. You are just going to focus on, I'm just going to do my tour, do my tour, do my tour, and doing enough tours just gets you in on all of Shaklee's incentives. That's the key. All right, the business blueprint. It's critical to have a simple to follow plan. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint. Distributors struggle because they don't know where to go, what to do, and how to do it. Often new distributors join the business after having a positive product experience or due to excitement about the opportunity, but then they struggle. Again, it's because they just don't know where to go, what to do, or how to do it. So the solution is the YFP Business Blueprint. It's a simple, duplicatable formula for creating a 12-month business project. So here's the question. Do you and your team have a clear vision of what you're building and like who you are, right? What's your job description? How confident are you in enrolling new people into your business? Are you able to communicate and engage powerfully? Do you have a plan or formula to stay on track? And have you outlined the daily actions you're committed to doing? The YFP Blueprint is going to help you do that, because productivity, which is the way you make money in Shaklee, is not a function of how long you've done something or how hard you've worked. It's all about planning, design, and action. The YFP way is not about getting you more excited about doing the business either. Much of the foundation of training in this business tends to be around getting people excited and motivated. But unfortunately, motivation wears off unless it's attached to something you're committed to doing or having. And that creates drive. That's why the YFP Blueprint leads with the why. So it's all about having something you're committed to. That's where the drive comes from. Okay, so motivation wears off. We must focus on drive. The key is having the confidence in knowing what you're building, where you're going, and how you're going to do what's needed. And this is, again, where the blueprint and our educational assets come in. And Kristen's been doing a lot of work with people lately. You've been blueprinting like crazy. Share with us if you could. Now that I've been bringing you in, Kristen, you're such a warm voice. If y'all don't mind listening to Kristen, share. How has just give me some thoughts and feedback of the blueprint.
We've been, with it being the new year, there's been a lot of people that we've been coaching with that were doing our 2021 blueprint, so the 12-month plan. And one thing that I've found from me and from what I've heard from other people too, is that it's simple, it feels doable, it gives them structure, and it helps to keep them focused. Those are the key things, which is all the things that we want to do anyways.
And I think I don't know if most importantly is the right word, but super importantly is that you, the coach, have a coaching guideline. Mm-hmm. So you'll know exactly what to do with your people. And the more that you can keep them into some sort of a training process where they feel they're gaining value, that there's some sort of a ladder they're moving up, the more they're going to stick around. And the longer they're sticking around, the more they're gobbling up Shaklee products. because you need time for them to have that time so that they can educate themselves on the Shaklee difference. So that's awesome. And you've been doing a great job with the blueprint. So big acknowledgement to you. Here's the blueprint in a nutshell. There's 3 phases. So it's creating the vision, then planning, and then implementing. And it's really as simple as that. So we want to help them define their purpose. And I'll get my little annotation tool out here again. Okay, so we want them to define their purpose. So that's their why, that's their vision. So they know what it's going to look like when they get there. And by the way, I spend a great majority of time here. I'll take an entire session and that's all we'll do is just focus on the why, the vision. And when you get someone talking about that, we worked with Debbie Williams and Linda Rice and their new builder, Travis. And it was so neat seeing the excitement, seeing, him kind of come to life, realizing that I could have that. And oh boy, at first it was like, I just want this. And then it grew into all these amazing things that he wanted for himself. And then starting to realize, hey, I could actually have that, right? If I put this into practice, how neat will that feel in just 12 months that I can start getting some or a lot of those things. So Travis, if you're here with us, we appreciate you. Then you're going to help them clarify what they're building. So are they building an organization or just a small customer-focused business? It's up to them, but we need to define that. Then we want to make sure they know about the 4 key strategies, so they know the simple things that they need to focus on. I like to help them set up their branding in a simplistic way. I'm not going to get into it very much now, other than to say, if they don't have some sort of basic branding, to start off with is an email account and a domain name. They got to have that to work online. It's an online business. You got to have that, okay? So I have that discussion with them. I do talk a little bit more about branding, but I also just connect them to other branding information that they can learn on their own. So you don't have to do all the training yourself. And we've got it archived for you in your business center. Then we help them define their culture so that we want them to know the way in which we're going to do this business, right? Because that's really critical to your branding. We don't want people who are going to be spamming and be aggressive and all that. At least I don't. That's critical to have that discussion. Then we're going to plan their activity so they know exactly what they need to do to get going. And part of that plan, by the way, is setting up their grand opening. Then we're going to make sure that they understand that block of volume so that they're switching brands, right? And then they're going to teach their team to copy that same process. And guess what? Success, you're on your way to a lifestyle of personal freedom. So that's the blueprint in a nutshell. I won't go into it any further than that. So I'd like to ask you guys, who out there right now feels like a raft floating on an ocean all alone like this poor guy, or an ocean liner with a fleet of support ships behind you? With YFP, you're going to feel like an ocean liner with a fleet of support ships. So let's go to the polls if we could. I believe, is it Marianne who's going to run polls? Or is it Kristen? You guys have got it figured out. Go ahead and fire up the polls. And let's see what's your feeling in all of this. Okay, so we just give you a few more seconds to vote. Appreciate you taking the time. And then we're almost wrapped up for tonight. And let's see. So we've got 47% not yet, but I'd like one. Nobody's at the bar. I don't need a plan. So thank God for that. I had a plan, but I can't stick to it. Okay. Hey, that happens to the best of us, so don't feel bad there. Let's go ahead and end the poll. And there you go. A bunch of rafts tied together. Well, Maura, I'm glad to be on one of those rafts with you. I have a large pail, so we can take out water together. Your fleetum, I like that, Dolores. Well said. All right. So, okay, I believe you guys have all seen the results. So go ahead and you can stop sharing the results. So not yet, but I'd like one. So there you go. So half of you are in the not yet. 28% are on the yes. The way to go. Those of you are either using YFP or you've already got your own plan, whatever it is, way to go. So let's kick off this year. How are we going to do it? Number one, download and follow the YFP Business Blueprint. Now, you don't have to be a YFP member to get the blueprint. You can go into yourfreedomproject.com and just download that blueprint there, or create a free trial and then get access in the business files. That one is the best because then you can get access to other things, other files that we have. I recommend you consider joining our weekly training, our Marketing Mondays. Okay. Consider one-on-one coaching, which I'll talk about in a moment, through either with Coach Kristen or myself, or with Maura or Samantha, depending on what the issue might be. Kristen and I are more based on high-level strategy. Focus on income-producing activities. We have the activity guide, which the blueprint links to. And then begin, make sure that we're doing a little bit of work every day on your most important asset, which is you. So that's where YFP comes in, is we provide that plan, the strategy, the content, the marketing platform, the resources, and the support. So we're here to free up your time and simplify your business. And really, YFP liberates Shaklee distributors from the common struggles they face and helps them find new possibilities for how the business can work for them. So we're here to free you up so that you can do what really moves your business forward. And YFP is not just a box of tools. We offer a new approach, a new plan and philosophy to the way in which a Shaklee business is built. And I believe it reduces resistance. And I would like to say that we're proven in this, reduces resistance, makes your business more fun. It also improves the image of the profession, and it doesn't have to be pushy, salesy, or icky, which I think is critically important. Because see, a lot of people who come into this business, if they're amateurs, they don't know what to do. So they get too excited and they end up, kind of burning off their prospects. Whereas when you're using a process with the right training, that won't happen. If you're not that familiar with what YFP or Your Freedom Project is, it's a 360-degree ecosystem of tools and training that can help you find new builders, find new customers, and increase sales and retention. And the core of YFP's suite of tools is something called My Freedom Builder. So Your Freedom Project is the container ship that holds all of our products, and our main product is My Freedom Builder. And it's the educational marketing platform that's going to help you find the customers and builders. It won't do it for you, but it works with you. Okay, you leverage it. It helps you amplify your message. It'll help you keep the ones that you've got and simplify your business. So it's going to help you find builders, help you increase reorder rates, helps you get organized, keeps you on track, improves your follow-up, gives you a duplicatable process, and frees up your time. So as you know, in every kickoff session, or once a month anyways, we offer some sort of a promo for you guys to help you get started. So we're going to do the same today. And you can start your first month with My Freedom Builder at 50% off your first month. Now we're offering the same thing for Networkers University, which is where you get my personal training without having to hire me as a coach. Social Marketing 365, where we'll post winning content in your social spaces so that you can get off of social other than engaging with people. You'll spend more time doing the things that matter on social and let the team do the heavy lifting. Freedom VA, where you can outsource tasks that you should either be outsourcing or you shouldn't be doing at all. And Freedom Blogs, where you can attract buyers and builders with your own blog. So I'm not going to get into the details of all that. Each one of those, we have a sales page for that. All you need to do is go to yourfreedomproject.com/shop, and you will find the promos there. But what I recommend, if you're not that familiar with our tools, my suggestion is to instead request a free guided tour. Let us guide you through the process. And only then do I recommend you consider taking on one of the products. Then you'll know exactly what you're buying and how to use it. I don't want a whole bunch of people that join us and then they flounder around, they don't think it works, and then they start telling everyone YFP doesn't work because they didn't know what to do with it. That doesn't help anyone. What I really want is for you to come in, get the right kind of training, and win. So I'd rather have less of you who got excellent training. And one of the ways to do that is focus on having us guide you. So type in the chat, I'd like a guided tour. Okay. And then if you could, type in your phone number and your email address. Or if you don't want to put out your contact detail here, then you can also go to our help center and reach out to us. But we're all friends here, so you can share that, at least your phone number anyways, so that we can make a call and get you started. So if you'd like a guided tour, please put that in there, and then we'll be able to help you get a better idea. And then you're already off to the races and running. It's exactly what I did with the Sherapans. I said, no, don't buy anything. Let's guide you through this first so you know exactly what you're looking at. And it just made a lot more sense. Then you'll know also what it feels like to be a prospect, because prospects don't have any of the tools. So they start off blank, and then they learn to the point where they go, wow, this makes sense. And then they upgrade. And I want you guys to go through that same exact sequence, and then YFP will make the most sense to you, okay? Now, I am also offering, really the beginning of each year is where I make this offer, because this is now when I can help you with your 12-month plan. So I offer mastermind coaching for a few people, because one of the challenges you have is distraction, overwhelm, and losing focus. Trying to do all this on your own without someone saying, okay, no, don't do that anymore, and do more of this, and let's try this, or to help you if you're feeling down, you need a coach. Coaches are critical. If coaches weren't necessary, Olympic athletes wouldn't have coaches. So here's what mastermind coaching can do for you. By the way, it's not just me, it's also with Kristen. So you can have either one of us, or sometimes it's both of us. Sometimes you'll get me and then her, okay? And for certain issues, it could also be Maura or Samantha, if necessary, or one of our elves, depending on what type of thing we need to coach you on. But predominantly, I'm the one helping set the kind of core strategy for you. Now, here's what can it do for you. It helps you plan and implement the YFP Business Blueprint, helps you stay on track and meet your business goals. I'll help you, dealing with getting structure in your business so that you won't just flounder around blindly. So we do things like we'll go through and look at all of your history, your PV, and then we look at where are your missing, opportunities that we could adjust a little bit. How could we, do this one thing a little bit more to increase that? We do things like look at how many learn and earns you've got. I help you measure your movements. Then that's going to help you, of course, increase sponsoring in PV, because you can do more of what makes the most impact. And it helps you develop your team and increase in rank. Now, why would you take coaching with me? Well, I know what it's like to build a Shaklee business, because I've not only grown up in it, but I've also built my own directorship. I'm an expert marketer and business strategist. I've been doing this now for years. I have an access to resources and top leaders in Shaklee. I work with lots of masters, so I see what's working for who. I have a team of 40 people that I can tap into for your success. I've coached and supported you guys for 15 years. I've worked with Shaklee Legal and toured Shaklee HQ and the Research Center. I also work with Shaklee's previous chief science officers. So one of the reasons I brought in Dr. Bruce Daggy was so that I could get insights into the inner workings of Shaklee, because he was their senior, give it to me, Kristen, chief science officer, sorry. Well, that puts him in a place where he knows a lot of things, and I'm able to glean things from that, okay, as well as their other scientists. So how to get started? Again, I recommend you take the tour. We're going to guide you through steps 1, 2, and 3, and only then do I recommend, now you'll know enough to say which plan should I go on. Now, if you don't want to take the tour, then the other option is go and just subscribe. Choose a plan that fits your marketing needs, select some add-ons, and get started. Or take a free test drive, and you can do it on your own if you like. We've got lots of videos that you can watch. Or again, contact us and take the tour. So you can either go to yourfreedomproject.com/start/trial or /help. You can view all of our products by going to yourfreedomproject.com/shop. Or I'd like to invite you to join any of our upcoming events. And what do we have coming up, Kristen? If you could share that. And then, of course, I will also recommend you can get help through our Facebook group. You can submit a ticket. You can book an appointment or phone us or chat with an elf on Facebook. And go to yourfreedomproject.help for that. That's it for me. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you all so much. Bye for now. Have a great weekend. Take care. Thanks, Kristen.